Never said anything about the money to him. You call it off right now. Or you see how this is for real. Like, this is for fucking real. You can't just tell you putting a hit on a fucking cop and me not fucking come find you. I did. Day one, I found you. I don't know, a couple hours later, I get a page from Barron. He goes, Mike, Cello just called me, told me the hit's off. Boy, I got something for you. Walked into Barron's office at Auto Sound City, he handed me $700.
Mike is furious. He doesn't want to have nothing to do with these guys no more.
Barron, he's a businessman. So he says to me, I got another guy who I think can use our help now.
So you had the company was a drug organization run by Jose Montalvo, who was also known as Cello. Then you had another organization doing pretty much the same thing, run by Adam Diaz.
How does your organization compare to the company?
Nothing at all.
What do you mean?
Because the company was a fucking low-scale shit. Half a grand shit, like dimes. Dimes! He didn't have the connections I had. I could take him off of the fucking business in a heartbeat. But I didn't want to do that. Why? Because he didn't represent no competition to me. And on top of that, his sister was in love with me. Beautiful girl. I was banging the shit out of her.
So what's it take to be the boss?
Balls. And you gotta be responsible. I know how a lot of kilos on Escobar because I know the stamp. When you have a Colombian connection, if they bring you 1,500 kilos and you have it in a place, you're already responsible for that. I don't care if tomorrow the kilos goes down $2,000 a piece, $3,000, $5,000. It doesn't matter. You're already responsible for that amount. You better fucking come forward with the money.
Or what?
What fucking, they kill you. No make no difference to them. I had several stores open in East New York. Blake Avenue, Crescent Avenue, Van Sicklen Avenue, New Liston, Vermont.
So you can get anything at your store. You can get Pampers or you can get 10 kilos.
This is a regular grocery store.
Any regular customer will walk on the aisle, take their cereal, take their whatever. The other clients that will go for the other product will walk quietly all the way to the back. On the back, it was a metal door. You knock on that door, and the guy will open the door for you, and you give him the money. I want half a key, I want 62 ounces.
So when they come out of there, they come out with a whole bunch of grocery, but underneath all of that, you got kilos.
When I saw Adam the first time, I said, this is the guy that we should work with.
I know Barron for a while already. I took him a Porsche on 911, candy red, beautiful vehicle. And I said, look, Barron, I don't like ghetto music. I like Julio Iglesias, I like Bryan Adams, you know? But I don't like those fucking big black boxes with big speakers. I hate that shit. But I want to hear the music. And I says, by the way, don't make any holes on my Porsche. You're not gonna believe it. When I came back to pick up my Porsche, he didn't make not one hole on that car. And the car sounded like a fucking club. Not only that, he put music there to listen to Julio Iglesias, but he say, you want somebody to listen to black music, they could put it on, Adam. But it's up to you. I had 3 fucking machines counting money, and it's still not enough time. Barrow calls me. He's got these 2 police officers who want to talk to me about they could protect your business and they could give you information about when they're gonna ready your place. I told Barron, okay, let's do a meeting with those guys.
Kenny and I discuss a few things, and we go in, we have a meeting with Barron about it, and we tell Barron $24,000 in our hands to talk.
Fucking Mike was a fucking brain. He said, I think it was $25,000 down payment, so he could trust me. I said, no problem.
We go in the back room. Baron makes a couple of quick introductions.
The first time I saw Kenny, I knew he didn't have that gangster shit in him. He had the cop look where you say, fuck, he's a cop. Mike didn't. From day one, Mike didn't have that cop look. Mike was like me.
Mike starts laying it down on the line. $24,000 down payment, and then you're gonna give us $8,000 a week.
We're selling him on the point that if we know of or are aware of any undercover activity in the area, we would inform him.
We will make sure all the other places are raided. You tell us where your competition is. We'll make sure narcotics knocks them out. We will tell you when narcotics is in the area. Diaz was all for it. He wanted that clout. He wanted to own cops.
Having cops gave him more power. Nobody can touch me. Nobody can touch my crew. I got what I needed to keep bringing my empire up.
I called one of my guys. He brought me the money. Here, Mike. Take a walk.
The look at Mike and Kenny, when they first got the payoff, Christmas in June, maybe?
Me and Mike were ridiculously happy. I mean, I know I was.
We had left there with a nice load of money in our hands with two young guys, with two young, beautiful wives and young kids. And it's almost like a time for celebration.
My wife was in the precinct that day visiting her grandmother who lived in the precinct.
Michael and Kenny picked me up. I was sitting in the back seat. I asked how their day was.
I tell my wife, you reach in that paper bag, can you give us a couple of beers? We got some beers, we're gonna, have a couple of beers on our ride home. She said, oh, no problem.
I opened it up and it was money. And I basically screamed. I was like, ah!
She's just beside herself. She can't believe how much money's in that bag.
Money always feels good.
I tried to reassure her, don't worry, everything's gonna be all right, we're gonna make some money,
Michael was driving pretty erratically, and he was going fast.
Mike was doing fucking 100 in a little blue Hyundai.
We got pulled over.
Before the cop even was out of his car, Mike was out of his car, walking back to the cop with his tin out.
What is he stopping a cop for? Like, he just, rode the median. I think you both are crazy. This is trouble.
Adam would do his business, i.e. sell his dozens of kilos of cocaine in a day. And at the end of the day, he'd have to make a serious move, like take his money and or drugs out of the building and bring them to wherever his stash house was. He asked us to ride shotgun for him so that if there were people tailing him, they would see that he had juice, that the police were protecting his moves.
No one's gonna try to rob him while they see a patrol car 10 feet behind him.
Mike was in charge to protect my stuff from point A to point B.
We were like their Brinks. We were, protecting him, making sure he was not robbed.
Effectively, he had a police escort.
He had a police escort. Well, he did have a police escort, yeah.
Michael Dowd got me vest, police officers, bulletproof vest for me and my guys. Original shit from the storage in the prison. So my guys used to wear it with pride, Like, wow, Adam got it going on. Adam, he controls the cops. We don't have nothing to worry about. There was guys that were competition to me. I'll give you a good example, the guy in front of me. They call him Dominica. Short guy, fat. He think he's a gangster. He's a fucking pussy. He started giving me a hard time, stealing my customers. Because he happened to be in front of my store, I can't kill him. His wife knew me, his mother knew me, everybody knew me, If he's dead the next day, what the fuck is gonna happen to me? The feds coming after me. Can't touch the guy. I say, fuck, what am I gonna do? I say, Mike, I need this guy out of the way, please. So what did Mike did? He parked the fucking police officer car right in his corner. No customers will fucking go into his spot. I say, wow, Mike, you're the man.
Kenny and I happened by chance to be passing in the back of the location one day, and we see unmarked cars, guys in beards, the whole unmarked, droopy look going on, and we say, hey, what are you guys up to? And they said, we got a spot, we're doing around the block later. Okay, great. I fucking hit the lights and sirens almost and go running around the block, jump out of the car. I go into the bodega, I take 2 Heinekens out of the freezer, I walk up to the counter and I go like this, shut it down now.
So what do? I pick up all my guys. All right, guys, close for the day. What do you mean, Adam? Close for the day. Everyone, let's go. I wouldn't leave not one guy there. I would leave the store guy, the guy behind the counter.
20 minutes later, we drive back around, and they had searchlights, dogs. The whole drug organization was being taken down that day.
When the feds come or the state comes and try to purchase drugs, what are you talking about? We don't sell no drugs here. What do you mean? I came last week. I don't give a shit where you came or who you fucking purchased drug from. We don't sell drugs, my man. We sell groceries. You want milk or bread? Come and get it.
The DEA was a little bit upset, and Brooklyn North Narcotics, they worked in the Joint Task Force, was upset because they didn't find a gram of salt in the building. Never mind a kilo of cocaine that they were looking for.
Michael Dowd was a very loyal part of my crew. Between me and him was like more like a brotherhood thing going on. Like, I could talk to him like I'm talking to one of my first cousins.
Barron would call us on a Tuesday and say, your money's here, and it went like clockwork.
I'm stunned at the shit I'm getting involved in. It's surreal to me. I'm like almost outside my body. A month ago, 2 months ago, I was a regular cop, and now I'm a criminal. A lot of plannings for the robberies would begin with me and Mike talking about it in a patrol car. Talk to Adam. Adam wants us to hit this spot. How do you think we should find out about it? We throw ideas back and forth. Let's send Chicky in.
We all meet in a certain place, in a certain bar. And we figure out what we wanted to do and what we had heard and what we had saw. And
we started to get the reports from wherever narcotics had been. If narcotics went to a building or a location, we would start to stake out the location.
Tried to figure out, okay, when the money was coming in, when it was going out, who was coming in, who was going out. Who's the same guy we keep seeing all the time? Pull him over, pat him down. I see you here all the time. What are you doing here? Oh, no, it says you live in Queens. This is Brooklyn. What are you doing? You visiting somebody? There's not a house around for blocks. What are you doing? Stuff like that. We would check it out first. We hit it later.
Mike had a friend in the police prison. Tall guy, his fucking hands are like 3 of my hands.
Walter?
Yeah, Walter. Fucking big guy, huge guy. Motherfucker's big.
Walter's a madman. Just straight up adrenaline. Go through the window, go through the door, didn't bother. Straight up madman.
Michael liked the idea of me being around because I was a big fucking guy. 6'5", 290 pounds. I'd break your fucking neck if your neck needed breaking.
The first time I saw Walter, I said to myself, bad.
We like to have coverage. Cops working and cops off duty.
We could put those things together where we were on duty, and if the police got called, we'd be the responding police team.
We put it all together, and then we hit the place.
You walk in like you own the fucking place.
Everybody on the floor now!
Fucking do what I tell you! Shut the fuck up! You knock somebody down, you know, you put a gun to his fucking head, you fire a shot over his fucking head, that's an attention getter.
Mikey's just crazy. He'll do what he wants, when he wants, and where he wants to do it.
Michael's favorite line was, what the fuck are you doing with my money?
They put everyone on the floor, fucking take their money, take their drugs.
Hell, man, it's all fucking police tactics. That's what they taught us in the police academy.
Same way you were taught. Got a guy in the front, guy in the back, got an entry team.
They trained us to see things, make sure you're safe and your partner is safe. And if all that works, you walk out of there with a bag full of fucking money and the 4 or 5 people that you left behind saying, what the fuck just happened?
There's plenty of times where we had to basically knock people out. There's times where we had to beat people. We weren't leaving there empty-handed.
Are you worried these guys are gonna go to the cops?
No.
Why?
Well, they just lost 50 grand in drug money and 5 kilos of cocaine. What are they gonna report?
Guys knew they ratted us out. Wouldn't be pretty. Not gonna sit here and say that we would kill somebody or something, but these guys knew not to fuck with us.
So he went in there, fucking put everybody on the floor, guns in the fucking air, fucking kicked ass. He was his money's worth. This guy named Franklin, fucking dope head fucking asshole. It was him and a guy's name is Cope. This guy got a fucking Uzi, 9mm, all kinds of fucking weapons. Elvis is ready to closing up this place. He had to put all the money together and pack it up, 10,000 a package. All of a sudden, Franklin and Cope come and stick up the place. Stick up Elvis. Stick up 14 of my guys.
So we heard a commotion on the stairs when we saw Franklin. And the guy put a Magnum 44 right on the back of my head. The room went quiet because I was just waiting for that pop. Meanwhile, they were just taking everything. It was Christmas time.
I was so fucking embarrassed. How the fuck I have people with guns and everything, and these guys made it through. Went all the way upstairs to the 3rd floor. Franklin is a fucking guy who has a drug habit, who don't fucking see no danger. He don't give a shit. He goes talk to the guy who's backing up my door in front of the building, and he grabs the guy in the door and say, open the fucking door. I'm going upstairs. The guy opens the fucking door. You open the fucking door, everybody else is in danger. See, that's the difference between a real gangster and a fucking pussy guy. I would never open that door. Kill me. I will not open that door.
What did they take?
Wow. Got to be $700,000 something. I'm not worried about that money. That ain't shit to me. My problem is they making my spot hot because they started shooting to the air, so the cops came. I told Mike and Kenny, I have a lot of money for you to find this motherfucker and just fucking put him in the car and call me. I'll take care of the rest.
Me and Mike, we're off. We're gone. We're out looking for Franklin. Now we got to get our product back. That's our product.
This guy was pissing off our boss as far as we were concerned. Within like 6 or 7 days, Kenny and I found him, pulled him over.
So Mike says he finds Franklin.
Yeah, he did.
So how do you handle that? What do you do?
He's not around anymore. I'm not saying I killed him. He's not around anymore.
What happens to Coke?
Who did you consider to be your primary employer, in fact, at this point, Mr. Dowd? The department who gave you your shield, or the drug traffickers who were willing to pay you because of it?
The money itself, it was flowing nicely there for quite some time.
Every week, on time, $8,000 is waiting for us at Barron's shop. So we planned trips around Atlantic City, stopped there with a limousine, and picked it up on the way. Me, my wife, Mike, and his wife, Bonnie, Chicken, his wife.
We were counting money in the back seat. The girls were all excited. So it really made you feel like, you know, you're there, you've arrived. My lifestyle was pretty good. Trips, jewelry, vacations. Life was good. We were rolling.
How important was that New York City paycheck to you at this time?
Well, I used to forget to pick it up. Paycheck goes into the bank. Your paycheck pays all your regular utility bills, your mortgage, anything like that. And I had a loan on my Lincoln. There was no reason not to have payments because I had cash to spend on everything else. A vacation, furniture, appliances, you pay for in cash.
Kenny and Michael's experiences just brought them closer and closer together.
Thought of him as my brother, my best friend.
Like many good partnerships, you have to have a yin and a yang. You can't have two exact same personalities. You always let someone take the lead. He let me, and he did the paperwork.
He's rock solid with the numbers. Kenny writes down every lottery number. Every Sunday, he writes down the lottery numbers. Does he play the lottery? No. No. I have notebooks. He kept things straight, because Mike was in so many different directions.
At this point, I had been drinking quite a bit.
They were like brothers. I would say husband and wife because Michael literally took my husband out of my bed for sometimes no other reason than Michael needed to drink.
What about your lifestyle at this point, Mr. Dowd? Could you tell the commissioners and the public what kind of car you were driving at around this time?
87 Corvette. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? We're making $600 a week. You can't afford a brand new Corvette.
Michael, don't ever, ever bring that car to the precinct.
Don't drive this fucking car to the precinct.
The next day, he brought that car to the precinct.
The reason I drove the Corvette to work was my wife and I had a deal. 2 weeks of a month, she gets the Corvette. 2 weeks of the month, I get the Corvette. It happened to be my 2-week period where I had no other car at the time. So it was either drive her car, which I didn't have a car.
I gave it to Kenny. It takes a lot of fucking men to deal with this fucking guy all day long in that car. Mike was fucking nuts.
I trusted Kenny implicitly. I knew that he would go against his own friends for me. Many aspects of gaining and building that trust and that bond just continued on a daily basis, and we never one time said no to one another.
Without Kenny, he wouldn't function. You know what I mean? But if Kenny would bring a whole bunch of cops and say, Adam, forget about Mike, this is the guys that are working with me, I would say no. Without Mike, you're not welcome.
We were the best backup team in the precinct. If shit went down and you saw Kenny and me pull up, your life came back into your hands. The blood started to flow back through your body again because they knew they were safe. One thing we did was always looked out for the other cops around us. So one night, Kenny and I were doing a 4 to 12. Some cops had a major armed robbery situation go down. Kenny and I showed up. We shanghaied the perp, put him in the car.
We're like a block and a half from the precinct to drop off the prisoner at the precinct. In that time, call comes over the radio.
And we hear 10-13 shots fired. A live call come over the air. Not a 9/11 call. A cop yelling into the radio, screaming for his life.
10-10 shots fired, 10-13.
And you hear the gunfire going off in the background.
And it's maybe 4 blocks from where the precinct is.
Tell the perp, get out. Just fucking get out. Get out of the car. And headed over to Bradford and Pickett.
We race off. We're the first ones on the scene.
I think I was like third car on the scene.
You hear rounds popping off. I don't know where they're coming from or where they're going.
As soon as we pull up, you know, we're down, we open up the doors, and the fucking shots are just going off.
And the eeriest sight in your life. There's a cop in uniform, happened to be a transit police department sergeant in uniform. And he's carrying this fucking guy. Guy was huge. He's carrying him in his arms like this, walking down the street. We still smell the fucking gunpowder. But all I see is a guy with a body in his hand, and he goes, he's a cop. So, you know, we don't wait for ambulances when the police get shot. Fuck that.
Throw him in the back of our patrol car. Guy's legs are sticking out of the car. He was a big guy. And Mike takes off, and I get on the radio telling Central that we're transporting a cop shot to Brookdale Hospital.
To get this guy from Pickin Avenue to Brookdale Hospital was maybe 5-6 minutes.
Pickin to Penn to Linden to Brookdale. I'm on my way. I'm fucking flying now. Lights, no sirens. And I'm trying to close the door.
Have them stand by, shot in the head.
He's got a fucking hole in the middle of his head.
We're screaming over the radio, get somebody at Brookdale Hospital to call and tell them we're bringing in a wounded cop.
A New York City transit officer was killed last night in a spray of bullets from automatic weapons.
Transit police officer Robert Venable, age 35, on the job with an undercover unit.
I was hit with a lot of guilt after Officer Venable was killed. I wanted to feel the pain, and I did feel the pain for him, but I had that sense of shame mixed in with pain, that I really don't deserve to share that pain with him because I wasn't loyal.
And you know when they kill a cop, how it is. Mike was so depressed about the whole fucking deal. When that shit happened, and he said, Adam, I need you to find out who the fuck did this shit. Man, help me out. I need to find this shit out, but I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. If Kenny gets shot, fucking I'll find the guy. I'll take care of him. Or Chicky gets shot, I'll fucking find the guy, take his balls out, cut him off. No problem. It's a pleasure. But someone I don't know? No way.
You get worked up telling these stories, you know? I cried over it many times, you know? I did my crying. And here I was fucking saving drug dealers at one end of the precinct and chasing them at the other.
He's trying to say that he did something to help Officer Venable, that he did, you know, he just happened to be there. That's all that was. He talked about that like he's a real cop because he took the, yeah. No.
So, Mr. Dowd, let me ask the question another way. Did you consider yourself to be a New York City cop or a drug trafficker?
Well, it's both.
We have this informant in talking to us. He's giving us really good information. I said, just no lies, and tell us everything. And he said, you don't want to know everything. And I said, what do you mean? Like, you know, of course I want to hear everything. And he said, no, you don't want to hear everything, Joe, because I'm talking about Boys in Blue.
And you hear that a lot when you're working drug cases. Oh, they got cops working for them. And a lot of times it's just pure nonsense. It's the leadership of the organization spreading rumors that we got cops working for us. It keeps everybody worried that if they cooperate, they'll find out about it.
I had no reason to think that the information wasn't good because he's been good to this point. Why, you know, why start lying about something like this?
And he says, oh no, he's got a cop working for him. And he says, it's Mike the cop, and he drives a red Corvette.
I felt like, fuck, you know, here, you know, it's a, you know, the job was great to me. I love the job. You know, you hate to hear these kind of things.
So we call internal affairs and say, hey, Mike the cop drives a red Corvette, and they go, okay, we've got it.
I have these cases from the 7-5 that the commanding officer has made me combine into one investigation, and it involves Dowd and his crew. So I went to the 75th precinct to obtain documents, parked my car in the rear yard, and as I was beginning to walk in, Police Officer Dowd is walking out the back door. I look him square as I'm walking by him, and the feeling that I get is perp. But the guy's in uniform, he's a cop. I'm having a problem reconciling this. The feeling that I get is perp. What I begin to do is observations, following them on duty, following them off duty. And it's a very precarious thing to do. Remember, they're cops. If you're going to follow somebody, you have to try to do it, obviously, without them knowing that you're doing it. And it's not like TV. You know, the guy pulls out of the parking space and you're 3 car lengths behind him and they never see you there. Yeah, it just doesn't happen like that. Michael Dowd had a red Corvette. He would pull out of the 7-5 precinct and he'd run every red light, looking into the mirror the entire time. So you have to devise another way of doing it. You don't start out at the precinct, you may start out on the conduit, so he's gonna run all his lights and see nobody. And then you're gonna pick him up on the Bell Parkway or the Southern State. Catching a cop by another cop is heartbreaking. If you're a cop and you took that oath, it means everything to you that you represent and that you're correct.
When you take this job, you raise your hand. You take an oath, you say, I will give my life to save complete strangers. And to Michael Dowd, that meant nothing.
It wasn't like you were hurting people, quote unquote. You're hurting a fucking scumbag drug dealer.
Do you know what kind of pain and suffering that money caused on the streets? Do you know how many people's lives were ruined by the drugs that money bought?
In New York, drugs were blamed in last week's slaying of a New York City patrolman.
Bodies of a mother and her 2 children were found wrapped in sheets and blankets.
The victims were tied up and either shot to death or strangled.
Drugs may have been involved in yesterday's massacre of 10 people in a Brooklyn home.
This was East New York, Crown Heights, Bedford-Stuyvesant, all low-income areas. People that were suffering enough for a whole lot of reasons. They depend upon us to keep it safe for them to just do the common everyday thing. Now, I have cops making it possible for this poison to get onto the streets, to destroy people's lives, to destroy entire neighborhoods.
How corrupt was the 7-5?
Top of the line. All the way to the fucking captain.
I used to carry a radio so I could listen to who was doing what. Aside from Dowd, Urel, and Yurku, there wound up being, honest to God, 25, 30 people. Michael Dowd is definitely the brains of the operation.
We started to look for other avenues to make money. We decided to distribute cocaine out on Long Island. We were purchasing large amounts of cocaine from Baron Perez and Adam Diaz.
We used to stop at my house on the way home to drop off the coke.
It was like huge bricks of glimmering primo cocaine in my kitchen.
My wife was disgusted, disappointed. You know, we got enough money. We don't need to be doing this.
Please, please stop.
At this point, we had some nice cash sitting around the two of us. So why don't we just back the cocaine operation financially?
We enlisted one dealer and set him up in business.
They mainly had this guy, Harry, distribute it. Harry didn't look like the brightest kid. Not slick, not especially smart.
Harry was selling, half a kilo a week out of a bar in $50 envelopes.
There's never enough. There's never enough.
I was using the undercover name Brian. I had a beard, I had a ponytail, earring. I got information about a subject named Harry.
Money was rolling in. And he just kept wrapping it up and putting it away.
Your feeling and your reaction to the fact that indeed you weren't questioned and you weren't in any way caught during the course of all these dealings, did that, for instance, somehow embolden you to do more in this area? Did you feel free about what you were going to do?
First of all, there was times when I was shocked that I got away with so many of these things. I didn't know what stress was. I just lived it.
It's fucking greed.
Also, mind you, I was becoming heavily addicted to cocaine and alcohol. So my inhibitions were down. I had some personal problems I've been going through, too. So all that combined, it certainly shocked me. I don't know how sometimes I showed up for work.
I wasn't scared of the money coming in, but the drugs in the car, we're gonna get fucking arrested.
I don't know how Kenny honestly felt about me doing it.
He's becoming wired, he's becoming paranoid.
I don't think it bothered him so much.
On January 2nd of 1992, I made the first cocaine purchase from Harry.
When I went undercover, he sends the coke to the lab, where quantitative and qualitative tests is done on cocaine. It comes back 95% pure. Somebody who's been pure coke in Suffolk County.
Based on your personal knowledge, why weren't other police officers in your command turning you in?
Because I'm still a cop. Cops don't turn in other cops.
He's doing coke as fast as he could get it from Diaz is as fast as he's doing. He's probably doing more than he's selling.
Even when the person they're depending on for survival is doing lines of coke in the R&P, is drinking daily to the state that, as you said, you're sometimes a fall-down drunk, even then, they remain silent?
Cops don't want to be labeled as rats. Cops depend on one another to survive out there.
Kenny talked to me one time and said, Adam, Mike is crazy. He's going crazy. He's sniffing coke. I said, what? I know he do his little fucking blow sometimes in a while, but...
Fuck everything, fuck them, fuck this. I'm gonna do what I want. And that's how he lived and worked in the 7-5.
You felt like you were God.
I said, no, he's fucked up. He's fucked up. He's a dope head.
Invincible.
So it's like, fuck. How do I stop this guy?
He never acted afraid. He never showed himself to be afraid.
I consider myself both a cop and a gangster.
That's why I knew he was no good. And that was gonna be the end.
Thought it was getting too close, you could quit. You find out when you're in the middle of the game, quitting ain't too easy. The game keeps pulling you back in. And then you start to wonder, maybe I will get pinched.
One Sunday morning, we go to my parents' house for breakfast. Pack up the kids in my car.
Say hi.
My wife gets in the car. I start driving down my block to the corner.
See a white car. Someone in it.
Sitting there on the corner on a Sunday morning is that typical undercover cop car.
Mike, did you see that?
And I'm watching my rearview mirror the whole way. They pull out from the curb and start following behind me. But I'm not worried. No coke in my house.
I'm like, Ken, they don't need to have a scale and cocaine in the house to bust you for dealing drugs.
It was like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the evening. I had seen a couple of cars following me. I knew something wasn't right.
Harry knows me.